Hey guys, Brady here. Welcome back to another retrospective. I don't know if I've ever done yeah, it's been a really long while since I've done a retrospective. When's the last time I've done it? I think my last retrospective was my BFDI retrospective. So, and that was like when my channel first started out, before I made the Scott Pilgrim review. So welcome to another retrospective. So, I want you to picture this. What do you expect Emmett Brakowski, E.T., Sonic the Hedgehog, and Sloth from the Goonies running around in the world of Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings whilst driving the Spy Hunter car? Have you ever really expected that? Well, I think we've all experienced that with the game that we're talking about today, LEGO Dimensions. Now, this is going to sort of be similar to the Disney Infinity retrospective video, where I talk about all three of the games in order. This time, I'm going to talk about all the IPs that were attached to this game, all the adventure worlds, all the packs, all the characters, every character that was released. I'm going to talk about it. So, the game was first released in 2015, back when the Wii U was sort of having those awkward games. Like, Smash was still holding people off until the next Nintendo release. Little did we know that we would get Mario Maker and Splatoon, like I've said in the past. However, though, this came along for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Wii U, and no 3DS. Thank God, because it wouldn't even work with 3DS. And as you may see on the back, there's some packs. And the characters that I just showed you, Emmett and E.T., are in this game. There are a ton of intellectual properties attached to this really awkwardly bad game. There's DC Comics, there's the Lego Movie, obviously, Lord of the Rings, okay, Back to the Future, wait, what? Portal, specifically Portal 2, The Simpsons, I guess that makes sense considering they have their own Lego sets, Scooby-Doo, what? Ninjago, obviously, because Lego owns Ninjago. Doctor Who. Are you serious? Jurassic World, which came out on the exact same year as this game, I believe. Either that or 2014. And Midway Arcade. And Legends of Chima. Are you serious right now? All these lovable properties. Like, okay, first, we'll talk about the DC Comics characters. Of course, there was Batman, Superman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. No Flash or Green Lantern. That's strange. And then later in the years we got Green Arrow and Supergirl. All right. And then came the Lego Movie, which obviously has Emmett, Wildstyle, Unikitty, Benny, no Lego Batman yet, and Bad Cop. Yeah, Bad Cop is apparently a character in this game. I don't know why, because he's not really a relevant character. And by the way, some of the voice lines are ripped straight from the movie. Like, you'd think that they'd get Liam Neeson to voice a few lines for Bad Cop, but no. Since Warner Brothers likes to be cheap, they steal lines straight from the movie. Yeesh. And then we have the Lord of the Rings, which has Gandalf, Gollum, Legolas, and that other dwarf guy I can't remember the name of. Back to the Future, of course, has Marty and Doc and Dr. Emmett Brown. And of course, Simpsons. Simpsons has Homer, Bart, and Krusty the Clown. All three. Separate packs. I'm trying to think. Doctor Who, of course, just has Doctor Who, obviously, the Doctor. Who was depicted in the who has a ton of like transformations. You could transform into literally every Doctor with the Doctor if you beat his level pack. I forgot to mention the level packs. You see on the back, you have the Back to the Future level pack. The level packs are basically a way of saying, hey, we can totally tell a story with one of these franchises. And while still having the Lego store, the original story for Lego games as a whole, where they, Wild Style Batman and Gandalf travel to different dimensions, there are side stories, including a Portal story, which requires you to use your puzzle-solving skills, the Back to the Future story, which obviously tells the entire story of the movie. The first part, actually. The Simpsons story pack, which tells the story of Homer trying to get to the chili cook-off and trying to find his true love. Homer likes to go on senseless adventures, I know. I'm trying to think. Oh, and then there's I forgot to talk about more about the intellectual properties. For Ninjago, you have Kai, Cole, Jay, Zane, Nia, Sensei Wu, and the Golden Ninja, Lloyd Garmadon. These are all the names of the characters. If you've never watched the cartoon, or the movie at least, then what are you doing here? Ghostbusters obviously has Peter Venkman, and you could and if you beat the story pack, which obviously tells the story of the 1980s Ghostbusters movie, you could transform into Egon, Ray, and Winston. So, yeah. And the thing about Peter Venkman in this game, Bill Murray obviously doesn't voice video games. So they were like, you know what? Frick you, Bill Murray. We're gonna steal your lines straight from the movie. As they did with Harold Ramis and Ernie and Ray and Dan Aykroyd. They steal all of their voice lines from the movie. And yeah. And then there's the Midway Arcade, which is actually weird for the most part. It comes with a gamer kid who actually is fully voice acted with some random kid. But in his story pack, he's not voice acted. It's kind of weird. And the story pack actually takes place in an arcade where you gotta go on an 8-bit adventure trope or something. And yeah. And you'll get to unlock specific arcade games made by Midway as well. Spy Hunter, Rampage, Tubin, Root Beer Tapper, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I'm just joking. Go watch my Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy fighting game video. That tells the story of that game. So then, as we progressed, we thought it was going to be the end of LEGO Dimensions. Until we were announced, and I believe E3 or something, that there was going to be a year 2 featuring many new characters, stories, and vehicles. There is, the franchises that were introduced in year 2 included the 2016 reboot of Ghostbusters, Adventure Time, Mission Impossible, Gremlins, E.T., Knight Rider, Beetlejuice, Goonies. Are they seriously pulling out everything from the 80s? Good for you, I guess. Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls, the 2016 version, by the way. And like I said, they introduced Supergirl and Green Arrow in this era. And Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is here too. And Harry Potter, apparently. Because they didn't think that Harry Potter was good enough to get into year 1, which I don't really understand. And probably the biggest bombshell they could ever have, launching a ton of these fans of the specific franchise into absolute frenzy. Sonic the Hedgehog was a character in LEGO Dimensions. This drove Sega fans, including myself, absolutely bonkers. People were going nuts. They were like, oh my god, Sonic is a Lego. Sonic can be taken apart and put back together in a snap, obviously. And he could be used as a normal Lego figure instead of putting it on the toy pad. So yeah. What a time to be alive in that era. I forgot to mention Jurassic World, obviously, because we don't really need to explain the other side franchises that were in year one. But it included Owen Wilson and a park worker. And then there's Portal, which had Shell. And the gamer kid actually has a really funny pun for Shell. So he's like, so is it Shell or Chell? Okay, the silent type, I guess. And every single character, well, not every single character has a super duper funny pun with a certain character. Like, you know how Chris Pratt voiced Emmett? Well, he also played Owen Wilson, or Owen in Jurassic World. So you see Emmett and Owen talking like Emmett saying, "There's something pretty obvious about you, Mr. Dino Ranger guy. I feel like we've met before." And another funny line was when they're like, "Hey, you seem familiar. Have we met?" And then Owen's like, "I don't know. You work on the park?" Every character has a super hilarious... it still contains that Lego charm, that Lego hilarity and humor that you've expected from a Lego game in the first place. But yeah. Not to mention, if you have a specific character on the toy pad, see, you put Emmett on the toy pad right here, and you will access a new adventure world. And the adventure worlds are humongous. Like, they have so many secrets, so many references, so many characters that you remember from that specific franchise. Like the Sonic world has like it ties together a ton of zones. Like a crap ton of zones. Like Green Hill Zone, Aquatic Ruin, Chemical Plant, Carnival Night, Ice Cap, Lava Reef, Hidden Palace. Sandopolis Zone is there too. And not to mention the characters that appear there. You have Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Amy, Big the Cat, apparently, and Dr. Robotnik. Or Eggman, obviously. And of course, you will find the respective characters in the respective worlds that you visit. Some of them are actually kind of fun to go to and find all the collectibles that you can. And there's also super builds, which obviously are... oh, crap, I forgot to mention some of the other franchises that were attached to year 2. Lego City Undercover and the A-Team. Did I say A-Team already? I think I did. No, I didn't. A-Team and Lego City Undercover, which means they actually got the voice of Chase McCain from the Wii U game to voice the Chase McCain in Lego Dimensions. And the world that he's tied to in obviously ties together a bunch of the zones that you find in Lego City Undercover. And you could even unlock his specific suits, the undercover suits he used in the actual game. But as the years went on, Lego Dimensions became sort of a failure. As the years went on, Lego Dimensions was getting less and less appreciation and more appreciation to the likes of Disney Infinity. Back there, you could see the figures. And I also have a bunch of toy pads back there for Lego Dimensions. So in the end, is it kind of sad to see this series go? Not really, but we didn't need it in the first place. I would definitely recommend that you play this on the PS4 rather than the Wii U, because I hear the PS4 version actually functions like a real game. The Wii U version has a ton of frame rate drops, game-breaking glitches, and just no variety at all. So, will these lovable toys be forgotten? Yes. However, they will not be forgotten entirely. They will have a stamp. They will have a perfect place in the Toys to Life industry as a failed experiment that really shouldn't have existed. But they will also have a special place in some little kids' hearts. So if you guys want more retrospectives, I would love to deliver. So, I'll see you guys next time for maybe a game review. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a movie review. I don't know. Sayonara, peeps. Take care. Don't buy this on the Wii U, by the way. See ya.